Welcome to Part 9. In a previous module on the present subjunctive, we learned a very important rule. That rule went, we use the future, they use the subjunctive. To remind you of this, let's look at this sentence. I hope you'll be here soon. Here we are in the present tense, and we're using the future in English. I hope you will be here soon. Now, if you said, espero que estarás aquí pronto, so here we're conjugating the future with estar to exactly match what we would say in English. This sounds instantly wrong in Spanish. Equally, if you said, I hope you're going to be here soon, and you went into espero que vas a estar aquí pronto, again, this would sound completely wrong. Even though we're using the future in English, in Spanish, after a trigger, they will still continue to use the subjunctive. So the correct translation is espero que estés aquí pronto. This is why we have this rule that says we use the future, they use the subjunctive. Now, something very similar happens with the past subjunctive. Let's look at this example sentence. I hoped that my friend would call me. Here we have that trigger in the past. I hoped that. And we're using would, the conditional tense. So, at first glance, you might be tempted to translate this as esperaba que mi amiga me llamaría. Here we have would call me, me llamaría. However, this is wrong in Spanish. It should be esperaba que mi amiga me llamara. What's happening here is that we're using would in English, but Spanish is still sticking to the past subjunctive. So in the present tense, we'll have situations where in English we'll use the future, but Spanish will use the subjunctive. Equally then, in the past, we have situations in English where we will use would, the conditional tense, but Spanish will continue to use the subjunctive after this trigger. So what we're going to do now is practice this particular situation. We're going to have triggers in the past, such as I hoped that, followed by a verb that's going to use the conditional, meaning would or could. So, after a past trigger, you have to avoid the temptation to put these verbs into the conditional. Llamaría, llamarías, llamaríamos, and so forth. Instead, you have to continue to use the past subjunctive, even though in English you would use the word would. Let's give it a go. It'll become clearer with a bit more practice. How would you translate this? I hoped my parents would sell the house. Esperaba que mis padres vendieran la casa. I asked him for his number, so I could call him later. This could also be so that I could call him later. This is what is triggering the subjunctive. Le pedí su número para que pudiera llamarle más tarde. Here you can see we did not go into podría and copy exactly the English. This would be podría llamarle más tarde, but because we have a trigger in the past subjunctive, we went into pudiera, the past subjunctive of the verb to be able to, poder. So it doesn't matter if this is a could or a would. You will still go into the past subjunctive and ignore this literal translation in English. Let's try some more. She spoke with me earlier so that I'd understand the situation better. Habló conmigo más temprano para que entendiera mejor la situación. So here again we have I'd understand, meaning I would understand. But Spanish does not do this. Instead, it goes into the past subjunctive, entendiera. We hoped they would arrive on time. Esperábamos que llegaran a tiempo. Let's try one more. I wanted him to tell me what happened so that I could be ready. Be careful with this one. Quería que me dijera lo que pasó para que pudiera estar listo or lista. Let's examine this one. So first of all, we have I wanted him to tell me. This is our first trigger. So we have quería que me dijera. This is decir in the past subjunctive. But then we have what happened so that I could be ready. Here we have a second trigger for the subjunctive. So we had to use the subjunctive twice in this sentence. This is why it went into para que pudiera estar listo o lista. This is why I told you to be careful, because we had two triggers for the subjunctive, indeed the past subjunctive, in one sentence.